Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Appreciate you stopping by. Do you think that maybe it would be helpful if I shared with you a matchmaker's simple guide to falling in love? Do you think that all this experience I've had matching thousands of people, watching the ones that never made a connection, 24 dates, some of them, a couple of them, went on, that I matched them for 2 years and never got any closer to connecting with anybody? I learned what was going on. I paid attention. I talked to my client after all those dates. I talked to the 24 people I sent this client out with to find out what they thought, what was going on. How did you feel about the date? Did you have a good time? What did you like about them? What didn't you like about them? Would you want to see them again? My whole list of questions went both ways, both people. Things come up, things people have in common. I think this could be helpful to you. If you agree, I hope you'll stick around, because a matchmaker's simple guide to falling in love, that's what's on the agenda. Sure, I had that client who went on 24 dates and never went on another date with any of them again. All first dates, 24 of them. But lots of times I had clients who both said that was a great date. I really had a fantastic time. We had an amazing connection for a first date. Wow, very impressed. You're a fantastic matchmaker, Carey. Both people thought that. Sometimes they even had conversations. I said, hey, don't talk about dating. Don't talk about past relationships. Don't talk about me. Sometimes they broke the rules. But if it was just talking about me, I was okay with that. But after both people saying that this was fantastic, maybe they've had 4 dates before, this was their 5th date, and they said, this is the best one yet. I really had a great time. I would check in a month later. Guess what? They never saw each other again. How does that happen, you ask? Well, that would be tip number 1, which is when you do find a nice connection with somebody, don't drop the ball. Let this potential go down the drain because you're busy and you can't make time to get together. Work at it. If a connection was made, that's really special. You have to put the effort in to see this person again and find out if that next date is even better than the first date. How fantastic and magical is that when you find somebody you actually connect with? That's like wow stuff. Wowza, as my nephew says. So don't let that get away from you just because there's some travel coming up and family commitments or a holiday around the corner. Get a plan on the books and make it happen. Set your priorities in order, and if a relationship is one of them, then give it the priority it deserves. And even if it's just a quick holiday coming up, right? A quick 6:30 meet for a walk around the block and a cup of hot chocolate or something, do it. Don't let it fall away just because you can't make time on your busy calendar to get together with somebody. That's just craziness to a matchmaker. I guess we should talk about your list of must-have, because if it's as long a list as Santa's, then you deserve to be on his bad list. But seriously, I had clients, not unlike the one who had 24 dates, but it was never to that extreme, who would go on a bunch of dates and never be able to find the positive in any person. They were always looking for the negative. And they had a list so long that I don't think anybody would have ever satisfied everything on their list. I'd always make sure that I supplied people matches that had their top priorities, but their list continued well on beyond my things that I was required to provide in a partner. And it was negating almost anyone I'd ever met from connecting with them because they couldn't look past it. They couldn't see this person for all the great things they were. They were sticking to a list that had been ingrained in their mind for so long or compiled over years of dating. Oh, he did that and I don't love that about a person, so I'm not into that I can't have that. Surely you have some things on your own list that you'll recognize when I talk about this. But some of these people would say, oh, you're not finding me what I like. I think I'm going to switch matchmakers. And they'd switch to one of my colleagues, maybe my best friend, who would probably find them people very similar, because neither of us were Frankensteining women or men in our basements. We were providing real people in the real world, and our client here was looking for somebody who didn't exist. You would have had to piece together pieces of all different kinds of people to find the perfect person for this client. That doesn't exist. We have to wrap our head around the fact that the person you're going to meet, even with a matchmaker, is a person who eventually shows up at Walgreens or CVS to be in that prescription line one day. They're a person you would see in the real world. They're not jumping off the big silver screen. They're not coming in off their yacht every weekday, typically. Although I've had clients like that too. My point is that they are real people that are in the real world. They're not magical beings that we've created just for you. And when you're dating yourself, you have to realize that as well. This is a real person you're looking for with their positives and their negatives according to your list. So be open and a little bit fluid and flexible, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Next on my guide, I want to share with you that when I screen somebody new, I typically ask them what percentage of your first dates lead to second dates. And if that number is super low, 5, 10, 20% or less, I want to know why. What is it that is preventing you from having a second date? Is it you not wanting to see them deciding that you weren't a great match for them? Because I can coach somebody into being a better dater. But if they're the ones who are saying nobody's good enough, or they're too particular about things that aren't truly important to their future happiness, then we're going to coach in a completely different way. So if in fact this person is just got that long list we were just talking about, we need to prioritize and build in some flexibility. If it's somebody's not wanting to see them again, then what is going wrong? As a matchmaker who gets feedback, sometimes I can say, hey, it's your body language, or you're not putting any effort into the way you're showing up in the way you're presenting physically, right? Different things with different people. But if it's just because I just didn't feel enough, or I just didn't think they were a match for ridiculous reasons, then you're not learning about this person. You don't know who they are. How can you make that decision about whether someone is compatible with you if you're not ever giving them the opportunity to get to date number 2? So if somebody tells me that their percentage of first dates that lead to second date is 50, 80, I've had lots of people say it's 80, 100%. I always give somebody a second date because I know first dates are weird and awkward, and I need to see if we really connect without that. A second date should be a little better, right? I'm like, and you should keep that in mind too. That one just strikes me really as sabotaging. And trust me when I say that as a matchmaker and a dating coach, anybody who wants to find a partner, who's looking to fall in love, that's truly what I want for them as well. And with that in mind, let me give you a few things to keep in mind as you put yourself out there meeting new people and dating. Allow yourself to fall in love with a real person. Allow yourself to get to know somebody despite your first date impressions, your 5-minute impressions, and not holding on dearly to a list that was created over decades, perhaps, of things you must and must not have, and that aren't even based on human people, based on things you've read in books or seen in movies. Realize and embrace the fact that this person is going to be imperfect as you are, and imperfect sometimes in areas that are important to you, but that can be worked out. I'm not saying be with somebody who's incompatible and can't give you what you need. But if you need somebody to be a certain height or a certain distance from you, or have a certain type of family that you always dreamed of, you're biting off your nose to spite your face, to throw in an adage, as I always tend to do, and that's not helping you in any way. Live in the real world with us and find a person in the real world with whom you can build a fantastic relationship. I want that for you. Number 2 is don't hold on to other people's views or values, or people telling you who or what you need based on their desires for you, or their values or interests or thoughts about what you deserve. This should be a person with whom you feel some type of a connection, with someone who you can picture yourself being with 5 years from now, because you truly enjoy the conversation, that what they bring to the table as far as their ideas, their personality, and their sense of humor. You can't have a relationship for other people. Trying to do so will just disappoint you and waste a lot of people's time in the process. Remember that we fall in love with people, not ideals or a list. And I encourage you, whether you feel you can do it or not, to set aside how attractive this person is until you get to know them a little bit better. I'm not telling you if you find somebody unattractive, you have this feeling about them or you can't imagine kissing them. I'm not telling you to date somebody you feel like that about. I'm just sharing with you that as a matchmaker and a dating coach who has happily married couples who were not attracted to each other on date number 1, love makes people more attractive to you. Getting to know somebody and falling for them makes them beautiful in your eyes if you give yourself that opportunity. And then finally, stop jumping to conclusions early on in the dating process. See somebody 4 times before you make decisions on whether this is a yes or a no as far as somebody who you're compatible with and are attracted to. Often people stop seeing someone because they're not sure how they feel or they're not sure they're attracted to this person. And I guarantee you that you'll never be attracted if you never see them again. And you'll never know whether you're compatible if you cut this whole thing off at the knees after date number 1. My recommendation as a matchmaker and dating coach is to continue seeing this person until you do know. And then finally, you may believe that you are going to marry a cute little blonde who's about 5'1", has really got a perky, fun personality, blue eyes, and has a couple young kids. You may see yourself marrying a finance guy who's 6'2", has brown hair and light eyes, because you'd love it if your kids had light eyes too. And I can assure you that's wonderful if that works out that way. But I should share with you that I have hundreds of clients who I did not match them with the person they're married to. But because they know I'm truly interested in their journey to find love, they've shared with me when they found someone special. Often I get engagement photos or they send me a picture. I'm going to ask her to marry me. They send me pictures. This is the gal that I found. My sister introduced us. I just wanted to let you know how happy I am and I learned so much working with you. And I look at the picture and I'm like, that is not at all what we were looking for when we were working together. You told me you wanted only buxom blonde women and who were very slender, very fit. And here you are with this super curvy Latina woman with dark hair. That's not at all in the realm of the women I was looking for. And the same thing, I have these women who must have some guy over 6 feet tall. The guy they're standing next to in these pictures, right about here on them. So you can hang on to your rules. You can choose to be right with what you feel you want, need, deserve, all of that. Or you can be happy and find somebody fantastic who fills your life with companionship and partnership every day. That's kind of up to you. Those are my tips. I hope you found them interesting or helpful. If you did, please listen to my mom. I've been listening to her for 60 years. It served me pretty well. She wants you to give the episode a thumbs up, and I would certainly appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. That really, really helps me out. I'd be grateful. I'll look forward to seeing you back here again soon, and until that next time, have a good one.